What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Then we give my prediction for Game Week 17 in the Premier League, starting off at Villa Park, where struggling Manchester City visit Aston Villa. Villa completely outclassed Man City last time they met in Birmingham, and I think that Villa will win again in the early kick-off. I've gone 2-1 the Villains. This horrible run of form from Man City is something that Aston Villa absolutely have to take advantage of. Although Villa themselves have been quite inconsistent, they're usually a lot better on weekends when they haven't just played a Champions League game. However, Jack Grealish could come back to his old club and have a masterclass. We'll have to wait and see. Next up, we've got Brentford, who are unbeaten at home against Nottingham Forest, who have been, the surprise package in the Premier League this season. They're fourth in the league currently, above Manchester City, who have won the title 4 years in a row. And although I might be a bit biased, I think Forest are going to win here, 2-1. I know this is a bit of wishful thinking, but Brentford have been, really rampant at home, but they do concede a lot as well, and Forest's defence being as good as it is, I can see them keeping a clean sheet here, but they will also have a big goal threat on the counter, especially when you consider how bad defensively Brentford are. Brentford have also just played in the Carabao Cup, which could have a big impact on certain players' fitness. I know Mbeumo didn't start the game, but a lot of their main players did. Ipswich Town against Newcastle United. Newcastle are the team that hosted Brentford in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals and won. Tonali with another masterclass. But they didn't rotate at all, which was quite surprising. They might rotate a little bit here, maybe Harvey Barnes comes in. Ipswich haven't won at home this season. Newcastle aren't really good away from home, but they should still be able to win here, in my opinion. I've gone 3-1 for the Magpies. I think they've sorted out their midfield really well now. Tonali and Bruno just seem to have developed a really good partnership, and you've also got Joel Linton in there as well. Isak's on fire in the Premier League, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him scoring a couple goals here. Lewis Hall as well put in a masterclass last week against Leicester, so I think Newcastle will be really disappointed if they don't win this. West Ham United against Brighton and Albion. Brighton are on a really bad run of form. They're winless in the last 4 games. West Ham are unbeaten in the last 2, but they're very inconsistent. However, with them being the home team, I do think they'll win. I've gone 2-1 to West Ham. Even though I think they'll win, Lopetegui still has to be sacked. This guy is atrocious. Please, West Ham. I'm not even a West Ham fan, yeah, but I'm so disappointed with the way he's setting these really good players up in games. Get Graham Potter in, and I'm telling you, you will be in a European fight, please. I expect West Ham to defend quite deep in this game. Brighton don't really seem to be able to deal too well with those sorts of teams. And if Lewis Dunk starts, he's going to make a mistake and West Ham will score. Then Crystal Palace against Arsenal in a London derby. Palace and Arsenal actually played in the Carabao Cup as well. Arsenal won 3-2 with a very rotated lineup. Palace used their full strength team, but to concede 3 is probably a bit disappointing. I don't think they'll concede 3 in this one, but I still think they'll lose. I've gone 2-0 to Arsenal. Obviously, you would expect Saliba and Gabriel to partner with each other again at the back, and obviously likes of Declan Rice, Odegaard will start. Saka to come back in. Although Palace are in a decent little run of form and at home they have looked a lot better, given the fact that they played their full strength team against Arsenal, with the exception of Munoz, I think this will be a tough game for them. Everton against Chelsea. Now this is actually an interesting one. I think that the absence of Cucurella will be huge. He's been the best left back in the world this season. And although Vega is a very good player and looks very promising, he hasn't played a lot, and I don't know if he'll be able to attack as well as Cucurella does. Everton have been boosted by the takeover that's just happened. They've kept 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games. Goodison Park should be quite happy right now. Obviously, they frustrated Arsenal last week, another title challenger. And I think Chelsea will suffer some of the same frustrations. I've gone with a 1-1 draw here. I think Chelsea will absolutely dominate the game. Everton will score a set piece. I'm not too confident in a draw, to be honest. I can easily see Chelsea winning this 2-1. I can't see it being too much more than that. But obviously, with the amount of profiles they have in attack especially, and the depth they've got, if it's not working, they can bring on players like Nkunku or Neto, and the quality doesn't drop at all. So it's a bit scary how good their team is. Everton can be a really frustrating team to play against, and I'm expecting another Sean Dyche masterclass. Fulham against Southampton. Fulham have been very good this season. Fulham have drawn 3 out of their last 4 games, but those 3 were Tottenham, Liverpool and Arsenal. Southampton have just sacked their manager. I don't even know who's taking charge of this one, but it was about time. They do have a much greater chance of winning this now that Russell Martin has gone. But Fulham have just shown too much, in my opinion, for me to predict a loss or a draw for them here. I've gone 3-1 to the Cottagers. Iwobi's been absolutely incredible this season. Emil Smith-Rowe's been really good. Lukic, Berger, whoever plays out of them two has always been really good. Robinson as well has been phenomenal. Southampton did play quite well in the Carabao Cup semi-final against Liverpool, to be fair. I think they were very unlucky to lose, especially what happened at the end of the game. But that was a very rotated Liverpool team as well. In the league, I just don't see him winning. Leicester City against Wolves, another very interesting game here. This is a huge relegation scrap. Leicester City in a bit of decent form before their 4-0 defeat to Newcastle. Wolverhampton Wanderers have just sacked Gary Neville. They've replaced him already with Vitor Pereira. Bit of a journeyman coach, did win Porto, the Portuguese league, a couple of times, but he hasn't really established himself in Europe, So it's a bit of a risk. Aït-Nouri is suspended. Cunha should be suspended. I'm not sure if he'll get it in time, which is really strange. It's clear what happened. Just suspend him, get it over and done with. Mentally, they're already a mess, and although they could have a bit of a new manager, Bounce's only probably had about 2 or 3 training sessions. Rui van Nistelrooy has now had enough time, I think, to implement some more of his ideas onto these Leicester players. Tomorrow will be back from his suspension, which is huge as well. Winks could return. Big boost for that Leicester midfield. Their attack is already fantastic as well. Buonanotte hopefully will come back into the fold. Jamie Vardy will probably score 2 goals here. I've gone with a 4-2 win for Leicester City. I think it will be a very exciting one, very high scoring. And yeah, I think the Foxes take the win and really compound the misery on Wolves while also keeping themselves out of that bottom 3. Manchester United against Bournemouth. This is a tricky one as well to predict. I mean, I think a lot of people would expect Man United to win this given their win over City last week. However, again, they have just played in the Carabao Cup a couple of days ago. They will be very tired. A very high intensity game against Tottenham Hotspur. Bournemouth won this fixture 3-0 last season. They've been absolutely fantastic this season as well. I think this will be a very tricky game for Manchester United. I've gone with a 1-1 draw. Bournemouth have played without fear this season. They've beaten Tottenham, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten Manchester City. And although they were all at home, I just think Manchester United will struggle. They're going to have a lot of teething problems this season. There'll be games where they play really bad against teams you probably expect them to beat. But that's just part of the process. Next season they will be a lot better. And finally, Tottenham against Liverpool. Huge game. Both of these sides will be meeting in the Carabao Cup in a couple of weeks as well. Tottenham are the most inconsistent and hard to predict team in the world. They can look world class one week and then horrible the next. It would be very Tottenham to beat Liverpool, beat Nottingham Forest away and then go and lose at home to Wolves. They obviously won this fixture 2-1 last season in one of the most controversial games of all time. Liverpool have dropped points in both of their last 2 Premier League games. I think this is very much in Tottenham's hands though, because if they start a duo of Doggy and Spence as fullbacks, I think they have a great chance of winning. If Porro starts, Liverpool win by 3 or 4 goals. Both sides have defensive woes, obviously for Tottenham. Van de Ven and Romero are still injured, as is Ben Davies, so they're very light. Archie Gray has done very well so far, but can he deal with an attack as good as Liverpool? Obviously Salah will play probably quite close to him. Liverpool themselves have Konate out injured, Robertson suspended. Who comes into that back line? Is Gomez going to go up to left back with Endo coming in at centre back? If so, although Endo did do very well against Southampton, he could get dominated by Solanke in the air. But if Quansah plays, we've seen how bad he's been this season. It's a tricky one for both teams. Maddison is going to be huge. Kulusevski has been fantastic this season. Invi Gravenberch is going to be a big battle, obviously, if Kulusevski does play in the midfield. I think Johnson could have a huge game given the fact that Liverpool do have those defensive woes. And Tottenham could overload the midfield with the Doggy and Spence if they decide to invert as well. But obviously Mohamed Salah is Mohamed Salah, the best player in the world right now. He will probably score in this game, and it could either be 5-0 to Liverpool, could be 4-2 to Tottenham. I am going to back Spurs to win this though. I have gone 3-2. I did predict them to beat Southampton 3-2 and they won 5-0, so it could be 5-0 to Tottenham. This should be a really entertaining game. Both sides like to control the ball. Hopefully it's just not shit, Tottenham obviously have played more recently than Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. That could make an impact considering Liverpool did rest a lot of their key players, whereas Tottenham had to use most of theirs because they were playing Manchester United. And those are my predictions this week. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you soon for another video.